Undoubtedly, today we are living in a time of significant economic change. Mergers and acquisitions they have become common business tools implemented by thousands of companies in this world. We are living in a live economic race, and that is why we think it's paramount for the issues of these mergers and acquisitions to be talked about. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Emanuel Defaro and I represent a public senior high school Tangerang. Today I will be speaking as the first speaker of the opposition team for our motion, "This House regrets merger and acquisition within the tech industry." Well, what we have just witnessed in the several years before the pandemic itself was perhaps the strongest business environment ever because of these factors such as low interest rate, low tax rate, and a strong economy to support them, especially in technology and e-commerce such as the merging of Google and YouTube, merging of Facebook and WhatsApp, and many more. These mergers and acquisitions they are understood as a general global trend associated with the global corporate restructuring across industry. They are a vital part of any healthy economy and the primary way that companies will be able to provide returns to their owners, to their investor. I would also like to bring this from two points of view. First, from the buyer point of view. Strategic motives to undertake mergers and acquisitions deal are primarily related to decision quickly growth, such as to get access to intangible assets, namely human capital, structural capital, and customer capital. Additional motives would include the achievement of synergy, adjustment to changes, undervalued assets, mismanagement problems, tax savings, and so on. And from the seller point of view, the strategic motive to sell business would include the decision to turn equity into cash, to maximize growth, and a peak in valuation, owner's retirement, or perhaps lack of access to capital. Before I continue, I would like to present my points of rebuttals. You mentioned how mergers and acquisitions are directly harming customers and users. You mentioned how in an alternate world without mergers and acquisition, these companies would be able to likely to invest more. But we don't think so because with mergers and acquisition, the unification of such big companies will also promote and support the condition for a company to focus more on investment because they have more capital, to focus on developing their technology instead of engaging in trade war in ways of advertisement, endorsement, publicity, and many other stuff with their rival companies. And secondly, you mainly use Goto, a merger between Gojek and Tokopedia, as a source of basis for your argumentation of your speech. We think that since this is a fairly new established company, like it's only been a month, then the effect of its merger, they won't be reliable enough to be used as a basis for argumentation. The effects of them, they haven't been fully felt, haven't been fully reviewed, and not even everyone have known about the merger yet. And number three, you are portraying these big companies as something of a predator, a dominator that preys on the smaller, newer industry of companies. But this deal, merger and acquisition, they happen because they actually reach a deal, an agreement, concession, and stuff like that. Mergers happen because these two companies are trying to synergize with each other to make a restructure for the working of both of their ways. And to my argumentation today, I would like to present 3 points. The first is that how mergers and acquisition they are actually supportive for the growth and development of our economy. First, economies of scale. Through mergers and acquisition, companies will be able to lower their outcome, lower costs, and as a result of higher volume, higher capital. And it will also do good as a bargaining power, as a considerable bargaining chip, especially in effort of reaching out internationally. So these mergers and acquisition, they will be beneficial for a country, a developing country like ourselves, Indonesia, to be able to enter, to be able to take part, to join an international industry like trade or technology. And also, it will also expand the scope. It will allow companies to tap into the demand of a much more larger client base, and it will also allow for faster implementation. It allows for a long-term strategy to become a mid-term strategy, like how the streaming behemoth of Disney Plus, they are being able to enter the market of Indonesia, of Southeast Asia, only several months after its premiere in the United States of America. Few years back, this will be impossible, but with this merger and acquisition, they are possible because otherwise there will be too much regulation and impracticality in general, and that is why mergers and acquisition they are beneficial. And next is they are increasing our market share. Mergers and acquisition they are granting stability to our stock market for trading and etc. And so it will be able to control our flow of our economic growth without having too much fluctuation in process. And also diversification of risk. One of the most important thing in industry is taking risk. For so long we saw big companies rise and fall because of risk. And so we believe with these mergers and acquisitions, companies they will be able to spread risk across those revenue streams rather than having it to focus on just one. Mergers and acquisitions support the creation of leeway of chances for creators to try something new without fearing of a complete failure into dooming their company to fail. And second point is how mergers and acquisition is actually highly beneficial for the users, for the customers, and for the public in general. Firstly, it's because of its synergy in mergers and acquisition. This combination of two or more companies, they will be able to yield a much more effective, a much more efficient result, like how with Disney purchasing Fox Studio and our Lucasfilm, they are able to integrate the ideas of Star Wars and X-Men into various entertainment sources such as video game, new movies, series, stories, and many more, those that are unable to exist before the mergers and acquisition, but made possible because of a larger available capital that are provided to fulfill the public demand, to adhere, to listen to actually what the public needs, what they actually need, what they actually want. And so this merger and acquisition, they indirectly support and sustain human resources in our economy world. When these big companies take over smaller one, they also take them into under their umbrella. They are also sheltering them, sustaining their works, sustaining their creation, their ideas. It is allowing them more access to a variety of talents and workers. And also I believe that mergers and acquisition, they support practicality. With mergers and acquisition, we don't have to worry about 10 different brand of thing and choosing only one from all of them. Like TV cable, I would be able to subscribe to only one kind of TV cable, but I would also have the subscription of multiple other various streaming sites such as HBO, Fox, and many more. Practicality, because it will be way more accessible because everything is packed into one, giving the users and customers convenience in ways of purchasing. And last, access. With this merger of Google and YouTube, I could easily watch videos on YouTube using my Google account. I will be able to link the both of them. I don't have to worry about juggling several different accounts. This is the benefit of merger and acquisition. It allows easier access for this technology developments to be more handy even for other people to use to be able to access it with only several small steps of registration. And also, in a world without mergers and acquisition, there will be chaos. There will be like multiple lots and lots, perhaps hundreds of companies that are competing in the same brand, in the same product, vying for grip and domination on a singular market. This is bad because with more players in the game, the more challenges would appear. These companies, they will be busy fighting against each other, busy downfalling, busy tackling the other party, where they would neglect the development of technology, of industry, of economy as a whole, neglect what actually the public wants, neglect what the public is saying. And these mergers, they are actually trying to help in overcoming these challenges, to solve that problem by cutting down the networking process, by uniting different and diverse ideas. And so without mergers and acquisition, companies will be facing trouble one after another because they are unwilling, they are unable to take a risk, because one mistake may just doom their company as a whole, because they lack the ability to truly develop themselves, truly develop our tech industry. And that is why, because first, we believe that mergers is healthy for our economy. It promotes a larger scale and a scope in our economic development. Second, because they are highly beneficial for the public, for the people, for the customer, for the user. It supports practicality and it helps accessibility. And third is because without mergers and acquisition, we believe there will be chaos in the market with so many companies trying to wrestle with each other, that in turn they would only hinder the growth of our technology industry as a whole. And that is why we from the opposition team, we would like to oppose this motion today. Thank you.